what human mind can believe, it can achieve. Those words were the most important for me when I started business, and they are still very useful today. And these are the words from Napoleon Hill, one of my authors who I like, whose books I like. And it's something about, like, architect wants to build a house. First, he understands how to do it in his head. This is where the plan is. And first you build the house in your head, and only then you do it in reality. So everything you do, everything you want to do, you do it twice. So here today, I'd like to share you my story and my path, how we established our company, how we had successes and failures, and the lessons. Sometimes they were worth $1 million. Would you like to hear the story? Okay. Thanks. So, this is a guy, Napoleon Hill, the quote I told. So, I will tell a little about our company, just a few slides, so that you understand where we are now. So, we created the company in 2007. We are now an international company. We have partners, countries in 116 countries. We speak 15 different languages. And we have software, hardware development. Our main product is fleet management, GPS tracking. And yeah, we have quite good achievements. I was elected as CEO of the Year a few months ago. And we are very proud to be number 5 and number 7 fastest growing Central European company, technology company, recognized by Deloitte. And yeah, you see the growth in the lower graph. It's how we've been growing, and we still do it successfully further on. But how did it all start? So, it started in 2007 with 3,000 euros capital. No investors, no funds, just personal savings. Company size was 3 people. And turnover was very small in the beginning, just we were reselling some things we knew. And you see, this is a photo I found a few days ago. It's few weeks after establishing the company in a very small office, 30 square meters, you know, and you see my serious face here thinking, yeah, I'm a businessman, yeah, we'll do something. It was a motivator for me. I was looking for opportunities everywhere, you know. And our focus was to create a product. We knew that we need something of our own, not to resell something, but to have something our own. This is the first product. You know, it's failed, of course. I mean, nobody needed actually. But it was a very important lesson to understand it. And our biggest challenge was just to pay salary next month, you know. We started with 3,000 euros, you know, pay rent and phones and everything. Where's the income? Where's the money? And strategy, what was it? I mean, I wasn't thinking about this, you know. You see the focus and you see the motivator. And our HR needs, we were just looking for some freelancers who could work and do something, small things for us. And we developed programs we were developing, and the only thing we needed was to show any mock-up to a customer, you know, that we have something, because we didn't have anything in the beginning. It was just plans in our heads. No understanding about processes. So what did we do right? We focused on product development. We started with international markets at once. We didn't focus on the local, you know. Some people say, be very good in your local markets, then to global. It was the complete opposite we did. We were very open, creative, we were trying and making mistakes. We were very cautious on payment conditions, because, you know, if somebody doesn't pay to us when we are startup with, after 3 months, it could be deadly for us, you know. And we started with active sales. We didn't We didn't wait for somebody, because you know, when you create a company, nobody's calling you for, I don't know, a year. You know, nobody needs you, nobody knows you. And we had ambition, and we have it now. And we were looking at customers being number one. It's the most important thing. Also, we did mistakes. So, the product I showed you, nobody needed it. We thought it's a great innovation, everybody will like it. People said, no, it's something too far distant from what we need. And we understood first lesson. You need to do small innovations, small things, step by step, because if you just do something radical, you might be too early sometimes, and you might not survive. And another thing was we hired many freelancers, but they worked very nice, and the costs were nice, and everything else, but sometimes, daytime, if we had a problem, and we needed to fix something, they were just out, and we thought, what is it? They said, you know, we have a job to do. So they had another job, and they were just freelancing in the weekends, and that was bad for us. What happened next? 3 years, 8 employees, turnover growth a few times. Finally, we had our own product, and the focus was somebody buy it, look at it, we have something to show you, but it was very difficult. Nobody knew us, our name was absolutely unknown, competitors seemed huge, you know, and we were small, just a few people. We said, we'll do anything. And my challenge was, I felt like I'm head of everything, you know. If cleaner doesn't clean the floor, it's my problem, you know, I need to fix it. If the cable to the PC is wrong, it's my problem again. So everything was, you know, going to me, and that was a challenge. It was, I would say, the most difficult years in the very beginning to do it, but also it was very motivating. And strategy was sell more, you know, product, sell more. And we needed very universal people who could do anything. They come and you can do this and that, you know. We were not able to have very narrow-minded people. And in R&D we needed people who would solve complex problems, because we were not even able in the very beginning to hire high-end people. And processes were very simple. I did like this, you do it like this. It was, you know, very simple. What did we do right? We participated in many exhibitions. We opened foreign subsidiaries. And we were focused on sales, always, because, you know, to pay salaries next month and so on. And what also was right was selling in different countries, because as you see, it was 2008, 2009 crisis, and many businesses were closing and going bankrupt. So the very nice thing was we were selling in different countries, and crisis wasn't affecting all of them at once, you know. It was going from one country to another and so on. And we also had some lessons. One lesson was that undeveloped markets, we had an example of Belarus, it was empty, you know. Nobody, well, there were some competitors. They said the market is very competitive there because they have a lot of just 2 companies who are doing this business, so there's no place there. And it meant that we were able to achieve very good sales and very good profit margins, but also risk is great, you know. We had devaluations and all those things, so you need to always understand the opportunities and the risks. And then, 5th fastest growing technology company, 150 people, turnover almost 10 million euros, and motivator was excitement. You see, from 8 to 150 in just a few years. So we were very excited, growing, and profits going up, people going up, everybody was happy, customers happy, selling more. Okay, I'm excited. Our focus was right people to right positions, because when you employ so many people, you know, as many as you need, it's a very important thing. And my personal challenge was, you know, the speed was very high. I felt like, you know, driving a car at 250 and not having time to stop at the gas station. Because you know, you need sometimes to do small things that this whole race car is going at the right speed and satisfying customers and creating products and paying salaries and everything. Strategy was grow as fast as we can by doing more of the same. Of course, we already understood more and we made our goals and so on. Of course, we needed HR managers because, you know, to manage all these changes was, I think it was challenging for all the team. And in R&D it was especially difficult because, you know, you have many customers who say, okay, we bought this product 7 years ago, we need here to change something, there's a bug there and we need new products. So many requirements and do everything at once. It was a real challenge to do it. And processes, we had ISO 9001, but it didn't help much, you know, just a little, we get more understanding. What did we do right? We asked many foreigners to come and work in our company. We have now, I don't know, about 10% of our staff in Vilnius here, not other countries, not mentioning other countries, foreign people who speak Arabic, who speak Urdu, who speak French, and I mean, they are native people. And that helped very much to get better relation with the customer, to understand his culture and to serve him better. We were result-orientated, smart, you know. We were focusing on most profitable, biggest and cash-rich customers. You know, sometimes you have very nice names, references and so on, but we said we need those for whom we can sell our best products, and we need to be sure we get our money. We were very persistent. Some customers were, I would say, they had doubts and they were checking us for years. And we were always coming to them and saying, look at us, we'll do what you want. And they came back, you know. They came to us. And we had lessons. We had a problem when our main supplier, I would say, became a competitor to us. And we thought, now what? You know, what happens now? Well, we thought, okay, maybe let's do it ourselves. So we started hardware production and development ourselves. And actually, it turned out a great opportunity. We grew with sales 5 times in a few years and we reduced our costs. Also, we thought that our deeds, our works, you know, would show to everybody how great we are and everybody would care about this. No, you know, Generation Y, young people, most of them work in our company, it's the biggest part. I mean, our average is 28 years. They didn't know about us. They didn't know anything, you know. So there was a lesson that if we want to attract those people, if we want that they work at our company, we need to tell them who we are, what we do. And we need to invest in marketing because before that, we didn't do it. And also a lesson was during these times that, you know, we kind of felt that, yeah, look, this growth is going 4 years, 5 years, I mean, and we do everything right. It will continue always. But, you know, it was kind of a big lesson because sometimes we understood that it's not like this. We need to change. Changes are those things that you do and help you go forwards. And sometimes markets can get shallow in high-value solutions, so we need to take care of this. Now, 2015, we're still growing very well, but we're more mature. We have about 170 people, and our turnover, roughly 12 million euros. And our motivator now is how to put foundation for our company 10 years ahead, 10 years forwards, you know. What do we need to do now that our business is growing and our customers are satisfied and our employees are engaged and happy? What do we need to do now for this to happen in 10 years? So we focus on strategy, we focus how to do it, we focus on the people in our company. Well, we always did, but now it's a huge focus. And my personal challenge is mastering emotional intelligence, because The bigger company we have, the bigger team we have, it's a challenge always, you know, because in the very beginning when you have 3 people, it's very simple, do like this and do like that. And when you have 20 top managers in the company, it's a challenge, and I like it. And leadership is also one of the things, because we need to have more leaders in the company who will take responsibility, take ownership, and bring the company forwards. We have strategy for 3 years ahead, known by all employees, and it's a task to do it. Especially human resources things are changing, because we found engagement to be very important. When people are engaged, we see much better results in our company. We have values, and competence growth is something that we cannot miss for our good future. And one more thing is, when now we have departments like 60 salespeople in different countries, different languages, you know, it's a challenge also to master them, to make changes. Because, as I told before, we need to do changes to go forward. So changes for 60 people are not the same like changes for 5 people. And in R&D, also, just employing more of programmers doesn't solve all the problems. And because you need to have effective processes, right practice, and so on. And now, processes are essential for our survival and for customer satisfaction, because we have thousands of customers and we need to be sure each of them is treated right. We have correct things. We're doing employer branding. As I told, Generation Y cares. They come to me, employees, they come to me and say, you know, I was talking to my friend yesterday and I told him I'm working at Rupsys, and he said, yeah, I know this company. And they say, oh, yeah, I feel nice. You know, and it's important for them, you know. Continuous learning and manage changes. This is something we always do, and something we need to do it properly. And of course we do mistakes, we already did. So bigger company means longer strategy. In the very beginning, for a startup, you might need a strategy sometimes for 2 months, 3 months, 5, 6. Now we need a strategy for 3, 5 years. And I know we will need a strategy for 10 years in the future. All employees must understand it. It's not enough to come in audience like this, having all our employees, what we do every quarter, and tell them, this is our new strategy. It doesn't help. They need to feel it in their hearts, in their spirits, and in their minds. What is organizational culture? When HR manager I interviewed a few years ago told me about organizational culture, I was, you know, well, maybe a little dumb in this case and said, what is it, you know? I didn't know what it is. Now I know. Now I know that organizational culture is something I'm responsible for to make in our company, because this is something that is driving company forwards. I cannot speak to all employees and tell my personal view about it. It's something we need to build, which all leaders, all managers need to do in the company. And also focus on results is not enough. We need to focus on competencies, on efforts. And new products is also a challenge to bring. And one particular difficult thing is that very different people are needed in different stages of the company. Yeah. So HR, human resources, is the biggest asset of our company. We're learning from the best companies how to do it, how to master this. And we are different in this sense, where we start here, we create the value here, and we are proud we are from Lithuania, and we are proud to make our country famous all around the world. We see in 116 countries. So there'll never be enough time and money to invest into our people. But people are the ones who bring the biggest value to the company. So I'd like to show you a small movie. Oh, there's no sound.
Žmonėms tenai sprendžiau, kad vieną gražią dieną reikia susipakuoti daiktus ir važiuoti ieškoti laimės namo.
Iš tiesų buvau tiesiog paprastas studentas, ne visai žinojau, ką noriu veikti gyvenime.
Baisiausia buvo grįžti. Aš bijojau, kad reikės užsidaryti tarp 4 sienų Vilniaus rajono teritorijoje, dirbti su lietuvaičiais, pamiršti anglų kalbą, pamiršti italų kalbą. visi tie blogi dalykai tikrai neišsipildė.
Mano pirma diena.
Pradžia buvo iš tiesų truputį sunki, nes mane atvedė į pardavimų skyrių.
Pirmiausia, dėmesį patraukė tavo darbo vieta, dovanėlė, blizgantis laiškas.
Supratau, kad aš negaliu pardavinėti ir labai greitai pastebėjo personalo skyrius. Jie sako, nori dar kažką kitą išsibandyti.
Mūsų didžiausias turtas yra ne gaminiai, ne produktai ir net ne vardas, bet kiekvienas darbuotojas. Tame tarpe ir tu. Tai tau leidžia pasijausti komandos dalimi.
Sakau, taip, noriu marketingą. Ir aš ir prigijau. Supratau, kad tai yra tas sritis, kurio aš noriu dirbti.
Gal nukeliauti į egzotišką stylį, vadina mane Afrika.
Kolektyvas iš tiesų yra labai linksmas. Toks vaizdas, kad mes esame kaip iš vienos mamos visi.
Nežinau, atrodo, ar tikrai taip įmanoma.
Man aišku, fantastiškai patinka, kad mes turim užsieniečių kolegų, nes čia jau man buvo gyvybiškai svarbu.
Here at Rupsys, we have tradition. At the last Friday of each month, we celebrate our colleagues' birthdays. And well, this is exactly how we do it.
Svajonių įmonė, taip pavadinčiau, kurioje nori visi dirbti.
Man užtelo padėti rasti, ką aš noriu veikti gyvenime.
Tai man tai yra antrieji namai, antroji šeima, sakyčiau taip.
Mes, man atrodo, užkariausim pasaulį.
So you see, we still have the ambition, and I'll just repeat that the most important factor of our success and all the main changes we do is the team. So I encourage to invest in it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rupsys, and now the floor is open for your questions. Please raise your hand, say who you are, and go for the question. Yeah. Just a second.
It was a great presentation as well. How did you handle the pivots from when you first started off and then through the time? So did you change the product? Did you change the strategy quite a bit? Can you help us understand that better?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Very nice. It's, I think there's this book, Eric Rice, Lean Startup, which describes very well. I didn't know about this before, but what we did was we offered something to the market. We said, look, this is a nice product, something that we built. And if they say, well, yeah, but maybe you can do this better, you know, or change something. We just were going right according to this path, you know. So we were listening to the feedback and pivoting right after getting the feedback. This was just very simple what we did. We were lucky, I guess, because we didn't need to do many of those pivots. We had, I guess, one biggest one, and after this we got on the right track, so we were lucky. But if we didn't do that first one, I think I wouldn't be here. Did I answer your question? Okay.
Do we have another question?
I can hardly hear you.
Thank you for the great presentation, and I would like to ask about you. How did you form your team? What was the start? You started from 3?
You mean the starting team?
The starting team, because you had 3 people and then you grew to 8. And what was the selection criteria and how did you do that?
Okay, got your question. Well, in the very beginning, you know, when like I told you, I felt like head of everything, so we just needed people who would help me actually in the very beginning, because I was the one entrepreneur together with my wife who started the business. So we first employees were one programmer who started developing our software, which we had in our minds. and the second person was a salesman who would just approach customers and offer. So this was just very beginning, because I thought those are the most important tasks and people we need. Later on, it just like when we saw that some task takes too much of our time, well, we employed a new person. This is, well, very simplistic approach. Another approach is, of course, how to select the right people with the right attitude, with the right values. And I think this is a big science of HR and big practice which we had. And we learned a lot. And our main criteria, I would say, for selecting people was ambition, people who want to do it, people who are positive, who would say, yes, I think we can do it, let's try it, not those kind of people who, no, everything's wrong, it's crisis, no, we won't do it. So those people, if they come to our interviews, it's very quick talk. So those were the most important things. Even now, values are one of the most important things when we recruit our people. We have values: creativity, responsibility, and cooperation. So we look if people are in line with this. So this is shortly. Well, if anybody has more questions or something, please come to me after presentations. I'm free to talk to you if you want. Thank you.